Hello again, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Schulte. This episode being recorded on Mother's Day, May 11th, 2025, and some very sad moms out there as the Tigers took it on the chin 2 days in a row, 10-3 last night and 6-1 today. Totally getting outscored by Texas over the last 3 games by a count of 17-6 in 3 games. And that brings their home record to 14-5. They were 14-3. Well, 13-3 at home. They came back from the road trip 12-10. To be for a total of 25-13. Then they won on Friday and were 26-13. And then, well, they fell apart over the weekend. Which happens. You know what? It's a bump in the road. This is it's a long season. This is literally a quarter of the way through. A quarter point in the baseball season is right around 40 and a half games. So literally the quarter point of the season was after the top of the 5th yesterday afternoon. Like, now we're into the second quarter of the season, if you want to be completely honest about it. So, you know, it does happen. Let's have a quick look at the injury report. Good to see Jake Rogers in Detroit, and he was running the bases this weekend. So he's doing well there. Matt Vierling is on a rehab assignment. He played outfield for the first time today. Had some DH time previous to that just to get some at bats and everything like that. So I'm guessing he'll be reactivated by the end of next road trip. So that's a thing. Detroit has 3 with Boston coming up. And Boston, I don't know if they won it this afternoon or not, but they were up 3-1 in Kansas City. That was a rubber game of the 3-game series. So hopefully they did win it, because anytime Kansas City loses, it makes my heart glad. Just like it makes my heart glad whenever Cleveland, Chicago, or Minnesota lose. Bottom line is, if anybody in the Central loses, other than the Detroit Tigers, I'm good. I'm okay with it. So there you go. A couple of quick things. Detroit was in Colorado this week. News out of Colorado today that Bud Black and his bench coach were both fired. Dumb move by Dick Monfort. I lived in Denver for a few years. I know how he runs the Colorado Rockies. And Ezekiel Tovar is a talent. Britton Doyle is a talent. You have pieces there. You have not surrounded those pieces with other pieces to make them better and to make them. You've not been a good steward of the players that you have, of the team that you have. You, as the owner, should be fired. And there's a lot of times where I feel the same way about Christopher Ilitch, and I will express that on this podcast when I do. If you have a team and you sit there and you blame your manager for your team's shortcomings when you don't do what you need to do to give the manager the tools to win, then you as the owner need to be fired, not your manager, because your manager can only manage the talent that he has. And if he doesn't have enough talent, who's that on? That's on the general manager, and that's on the owner. It's not on the manager. I felt the same way when Al Avila got fired. I felt the same way when Ron Gardenhire left. I felt the same way when Brad Ausmus got let go. I felt the same way when Jim Leyland left, when Alan Trammell got fired, when Buddy Bell got let go. If you don't surround the manager with the talent that he needs to win, then you need to be fired. Case in point, look at the teams that AJ Hinch started out with. And he got the best out of those teams. 66 and 96 in 2023. But in 2021 and 2022, he was taking the field. He was Nico Goodrum, John Hicks, Tucker Barnhart, Brandon Dixon. Like, let's be honest. You're not going to win with those guys. But you know what? AJ Hinch made it work to the best of his ability, and that's why he's still there. Bud Black couldn't make it work to the best of his ability because he did the best he could with a depleted roster, no less. And he's the one that takes the fall for the owner's stupidity. Detroit contributed to that, sweeping Colorado in a shortened series. It was 3 games, but it was over 2 days. And I honestly didn't think they were going to... I felt they would take 2 out of 3. I honestly, like I said it on this show, they were going to go 6-4 on the road trip. They made me look bad. They went 7-3. So they're now 12-10 on the road. After dropping 2 out of 3 to Houston, taking 3 out of 4 from LA, and then sweeping the series with Colorado. And there's no more long road trips. And the good news is with this is, so they got LA and Seattle both out of the way twice. So they got the Dodgers and the Mariners out of the way early, and then they got LA, the Angels, out of the way. They still need to go out to Sacramento. Sorry. They still need to go out to Sacramento. But where they don't need to go this year is San Francisco and San Diego. So they'll probably, I haven't looked at the schedule, but my guess is they'll probably do Sacramento and Texas in a road trip, in a 2-city road trip, or Chicago and Sacramento, or Sacramento and Chicago, something like that. But they'll do that, and that'll be something that I'll be interested to see how the Tigers play in that ballpark in Sacramento. That's going to be, but we're not going to go there anymore. So Detroit's 26-15 after 41 games, and they have the second highest scoring offense in the league after 41 games. I think it's pretty safe to say that this is actually a playoff contender. I think it's safe to say, because they've got a 1.5 game lead. I think Cleveland won today. So they got a 1.5 game lead in the Central. I think it's safe to say that they're going to be at least a wild card team, probably in the top spot in the wild card race. Because the East is beating up on each other, the West is a dumpster fire, and the Central is the toughest division in baseball right now. You couldn't say that 2 years ago. Because Kansas City, doormat. Chicago, doormat. Detroit, doormat. Cleveland and Minnesota were the 2 teams that were always fighting it out. And Cleveland, quite frankly, wasn't that good. Minnesota was the class of that division 2 years ago. It changed last year. And I think it's a good thing. When you have 4 teams that are 500 or better in your division, that just makes you a better team. So it makes the decisions that you make, it magnifies the decisions that you make, whether they're good ones or bad ones, and it makes them even more crucial. So I like this division. I'm happy with the way things are going in the Central. What I'm not happy with is the fact that Tarik Skubal hasn't been extended yet. And his price after every start goes higher. Like, I wonder with each quality start that he makes, if he hears cash register bells. The start that he put together on Friday, 7 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, no walks, 12 strikeouts. Did hit a batter. He had 32 swing and misses on Friday. And I kind of found it interesting today. Dan Dickerson and Andy Dirks were talking. And by the way, Andy Dirks really needs to be on radio more. Let's get rid of Bobby Scales. Put Bobby Scales on the TV side. Bring Andy Dirks back onto the radio. He is so good. I don't know that he's going to do that. He's got 4 kids. I think they're all under 10, and his wife has another one on the way, we found out today. So I don't know that that's going to happen, but I would really be happy if they did that. But I digress. He was saying that for whatever reason, the Tigers were throwing balls out of the zone, hoping that Texas would swing and miss. Now, I understand that because Texas is leading the league in swing and miss. But I'd rather have my opponent swinging at strikes, because at least you know you're getting beat throwing strikes. You're not getting beat because, like Reese Olson today, you're behind 3-1, or Jack Flaherty yesterday, you're behind 3-1, or you're 3-2, and they've fouled off 7 or 8 pitches, and now you need to just throw something there to get out of the at bat. Throw strikes, man. Tarik Skubal did it on Friday, and look how well that worked out for him. Jacob deGrom did it yesterday. Look how well that worked out for him. Nate Eovaldi did it today. Look how well that worked out for him. Texas gave Detroit a taste of their own medicine when it comes to the pitching department over the last 2 days. Really over the last 3. The only difference is Detroit had a better pitcher on the mound on Friday. But honestly, if Jack Flaherty stays in the strike zone yesterday, and I understand he got taken deep twice in the first inning, and that kind of makes a pitcher shy. It shakes your confidence a little bit. But that's where your catcher's got to be like, all right, dude, let's settle it down. Let's get it back on track. Your catcher and your pitching coach need to do that for you. And Thomas Nido and Chris Fetter dropped the ball yesterday. But Reese Olson only got taken deep once today. Yeah, he gave up 5 runs. Actually, twice. But still, you stay in the strike zone, at least you're getting beat in the strike zone. I'd rather have a pitcher get beat throwing quality pitches, throwing competitive pitches, than throwing things that are out of the zone and going, oh, well, this team likes to swing and miss, so we're just going to hope they chase. It's a pathway to disaster. You get behind 3-1, and then you have to throw something in the middle of the strike zone, and they drill it. Just be competitive in the zone, and you don't have to worry about that. But Tarik Skubal is going to go into the 2026 season. It's going to be his last season under this current contract. As of now, he does not have a contract extension. He needs one. Scott Boras doesn't generally do them. But I'm sure if you approach Scott Boras, now mind you, he likes to set records. All right. So 6 years at $240 million isn't going to do it. Granted, it's $40 million a year, but it's only 6 years. If you approach him and say, all right, Scott, Grandmaster Cash, if we're going to make an offer to Reese Olson for 12 years, $480 million, he'll take that. He'll take that. You'll have him locked up for life. He'll retire a Tiger, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. 12 years, $480 million. It's $40 million a year. It's a record. It's more than Yoshinobu Yamamoto's got. It's more than Garrett Cole's got. It's higher than what Max Fried got. Longer deal it's longer deal than what Max Fried got. Because the market right now for a starting left-handed pitcher, Max Fried pretty much set that at 8 and 218. Now, you could go 8 and 320, I suppose. But there's no reason why Tarik Skubal can't ask for and get and won't ask for and get $40 million a year. If the Tigers won't do it, the Dodgers will. Tyler Glasnow's been injured again this year. You don't know when Clayton Kershaw is going to retire at the end of the year, more than likely. You don't know what you're going to get from Shohei Ohtani. That's 2 left-handers right there. Blake Snell's on the injured list. That's 3 left-handers. So in 2 years, when Clayton Kershaw has retired, and you're 2 years into the Blake Snell contract, and he's making 27 or 28 starts of 5 innings apiece, and Shohei Ohtani is pitching, but you don't know what you're going to have in that, Tarik Skubal becomes available. Sure. And the thing is, the Dodgers are smart enough that they'll give him a huge deal and they'll be able to defer most of that money because they know the rules. They know that they can do that. They've done it already. Why other teams haven't done it is beyond me. Maybe it's players that don't want it. But it's good business. It's legal. And I say it's good business because what people don't understand about this whole idea is you can't you look at all the talent that they've got. You look at all the talent and Boston is betting on this as well, by the way, because I believe in Alex Bregman's deal, there's some deferrals as well. So you get to the playoffs, you go deep into the playoffs every year that you have this contract, or most years that you have this contract, and you're going to get extra money and that deferral is going to pay for itself at that point. Because you'll get extra gate receipts, you'll get extra TV money, you'll get extra endorsement money, you'll get extra merchandise sales. So at the end of the day, you're making money. So you know what? Don't be surprised if in 2027, if we have baseball in 2027 because of the labor agreement. We're not going to talk about that because that's way beyond the scope of this show. That's way beyond the scope of my mind, for that matter. But don't be surprised if in 2027, if we do have baseball, if your opening day starter for the LA Dodgers or the New York Yankees or the New York Mets is Tarik Skubal. And you know what? Detroit's going to be worse off for it because Jackson Jobe isn't this good. Casey Mize isn't this good. Justin Verlander at his peak was close, but I don't think he was even this good. I think Tarik Skubal is a generational talent. I think you could put Tarik Skubal up against any left-handed pitcher right now in the major leagues. You could put Tarik Skubal up against any pitcher right now in the major leagues. And Tarik Skubal is still better. Max Scherzer had a great body of work over his career. Justin Verlander had a great body of work over his career. Clayton Kershaw's a Hall of Famer. Paul Skeens is going to be amazing. Jacob deGrom was great in his prime. Shohei Ohtani is good. Tyler Glasnow is good. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is impressive. But you put Tarek Skubal up against those guys, and there's still a talent gap. Tarek Skubal's just that much better than everybody else. Oh, Chris, you're being a homer. No. I've watched Yamamoto pitch. I've watched Kershaw pitch. I've watched Snell pitch. I've watched Garrett Crochet pitch. I've watched Paul Skeens pitch. I know what I'm talking about. Tarek Skubal is a generational talent, and Detroit's not gonna re-sign him, and they're gonna lose out for it, and they're not gonna be able to replace him in that rotation. And because Scott Harris can't get the talent that he needs for AJ Hinch to win, guess who should get fired, but he won't? You know, Scott Harris in his opening press conference, in his introductory press conference, said, we want to obtain, maintain, and retain talent. Well, you have a chance to retain some talent here, and you haven't done it yet. Sure, you made Colt Keith an offer, and he accepted, and that's looking okay, I guess. But Riley Green hasn't been extended. Spencer Torkelson he's got one more year left, and he's actually playing well. Can he maintain it? I don't know. His isolated power, by the way, is over 350. There's only one other person in the major leagues that has isolated power over 300. That guy's name is Aaron Judge. He's pretty good. Might have heard of him. So no. Scott Harris isn't doing his job. Scott Harris needs to be let go because he's not retaining talent. I want to thank YouTube for being able to for hosting my channel. If you enjoy the show, please tell your friends, like and subscribe. Feel free to comment if you wish. I do read them. You can get in touch with the show at TB Podcast, at tweesecake.social on Mastodon. That's TWEESE Cake. At Podcast Tigers on Twitter. TigersBaseballPodcast@gmail.com. It's the world's longest email address. I'm proud of that. Is your email address if you want to get in touch with the show. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Go Tigers.